Well, creative friends, my name is Joey Balestrieri. Welcome to my channel. I just got my bargain bead box in the mail just an hour ago. So I've set everything up so that we can dive right into a little bit of an expedited unboxing. And then I already know what I'm going to make first. And I've designed 3 other projects just in setting up my mat. It's really good this month. Oh my goodness. The theme is called Mystic Moonrise, and it is kind of based on the theme of an autumnal evening, or like nighttime in autumn. So it's a collection of stars and labradorite and lapis lazuli and some larvacite. There's some crystals in here and the most amazing freshwater pearls with a cool finish. You just can't believe it. And the antique copper findings are just gorgeous. I love the whole thing. So voila, there it is. And we're just going to go through really quickly. I have so many favorites in this box, but I'm just going to start at the top. We received in this month's box this beautiful 4x3 millimeter steel oval jewelry chain. We got 1 meter of it, so that is plenty to do a necklace and a bracelet, or even layering it up. You can also, with chain in this size, you can also make your own tassels, make them loopy, or cut it apart and gather it up and make a tassel. I will be using this in my first project. The next thing is really cool. This is an 15-inch strand of 8 millimeter labradorite. They're just round beads, and if you're not familiar with labradorite, it's something that I see like when I take a cruise. Oftentimes in gift shops there's a lot of labradorite, and I hope the camera will render the flash that is in these beads. Wait until you see the other labradorite that's faceted. That's my favorite, but these are beautiful. Like labradorite has that little surprise because it looks a little plain, and then the light will catch the flash within the stone when you least expect it. It's really beautiful. So we got, again, 15 inches. That is so awesome. And then I am in love with these little stars, and we got so many to work with. There's so many possibilities, from earrings to charms. Just wonderful. And I love when I make a necklace to add an embellishment to the end of an extender chain on the back of a necklace, or even on a bracelet, or even if there is no extender chain, just something really pretty on the back side of one of my pieces. And this is perfect for that. They are just beautiful. There are 20 pieces here, these beautiful little star charms. And then I'm going to grab a piece of wire because these are absolutely gorgeous. Look at these spacer beads. They almost look floral, and I love the hole size on these because if you've been around my channel at all, you know that I really love the Brazilian waxed cord, and a little bit larger hole is just wonderful for projects like this. So these have a little like a little pattern on both sides, and it's like a saucer bead, or almost, I wanted to say kind of rondelle shaped, but it is more of a saucer shape, like a little flying saucer. They are just gorgeous. I just love those. And then there are 2 pieces of this filigree style crescent moon, and it's so dimensional. It is, a little bit curved this way, so it's not a flat piece. And not only do you have the loop here and the loop here, but never underestimate all of these possibilities for connecting and doing things. This is just so fun. And again, I totally am feeling like copper at this time of year. We're just like going full steam ahead into fall, and it's just wonderful. And I have to say, you'll see in the next few pieces, the filigree pieces in this month's box is unbelievably beautiful. It is something else that is just kind of a classic ongoing love of mine that I go to time and again. And then back with the theme of like an autumn night, there are these beautiful, we got 10 pieces of this leaf charm in this copper filigree, and same thing, there's a little loop at the top, but with filigree, if you wanted to get creative, there's like all of these little places that have a possibility if you wanted to put a fine gauge wire and bead the surface of this. If you really want to get crazy, there's a little possibility there with all the openings. And then this might be my favorite thing in the box. I love this link. I think this is the prettiest link I've seen in a really long time. The only thing that would make it better is if it were two-sided. I really always love a two-sided link, but it's gorgeous, and this is one of my projects for sure. I already know what I'm going to make with it, at least one thing, and I will have some left over because we received 10 pieces of these and they're just stunning. I just absolutely love that link. Like I said, it's been a while since I've seen a link so pretty. And then this is not normally one of my favorite gemstone beads. This is Larva Kite, and it's an 8x5 millimeter bead, and we got 7 inches of this. And you know, I'm not a huge lover of gray and gray stones, but I have to say this beautiful smooth rondelle shape is really beautiful in this bead. And they're a little bit, mine have a couple on here that are a little bit misshapen, which I rather like. And this Larva Kite, as I was like looking closely at the beads, there is some flash in this as well. So it's not a flat, dull gray. It has a lot of movement, and it's really, for not being one of my favorite gemstones, it certainly is beautiful. I really do like it. Surprisingly enough, I really do like it. We got 4 sets of this sweet little toggle. It's such a great size, and it has this little, it's embossed, but it almost looks like a little rivet, embossed like right in the circle part, and then the little bar part has that same embossing. It's not quite, it's like just a little bit of texturing across the T-bar. So what a sweet little toggle. Bargain Bead Box gets me so excited I lose the ability to speak clearly. And then this is one of my ultimate favorites in this box. I have literally never seen anything like this. This is an 8 millimeter coin pearl, but it is special because not only is it a freshwater shell bead, but it has an AB, which is Aurora Borealis if you're newer to beads, plated on top of the natural shell. And so each one has the beautiful variation, the swirling, the marbling. Each one has its own natural beauty. It's a little bit organic, but then on top of that is that Aurora Borealis. Again, this is like the insert was saying, this is kind of representing a lunar, you know, the lunar part of a nighttime autumn sky. It's so beautiful. It's just absolutely beautiful. I love it so much. And you know, the AB finish always reminds me, it's like a nod to the Northern Lights. So like all of that flash and color, and it just it's amazing. And you know, coin beads are one of my favorite shapes. I just love them, and this one is just so sweet because it's 8 millimeter. It has a little tiny bit of dimension, but that finish is just breathtaking. I mean, just this is something that as soon as box extras become available, if this is there, I definitely want more of that. You know, I live in Florida and we do a lot of oceanic things. Like everybody's feeling fall right now, and you know, maybe moving away from some of the summer designs, but in Florida, that's a 12-month out of the year design thing here. The beach shops, the beach boutiques carry this thing, and I make a lot of that style of jewelry, and this is just absolutely stunning to go with red coral and bamboo coral and turquoise and any of the seashells. I mean, it's just absolutely gorgeous. I don't want to put it down. I like it so much. And then I am crazy for this too. One of my favorite gemstone beads is lapis lazuli. And for me, this is just so denim friendly. So we received 2 pieces of a 17.5 by 10 millimeter teardrop bead, and it is beautifully faceted on both sides, and it just has this beautiful profile, and mine match incredibly well. I love that the hole is at the top of this, and it's just absolutely a perfect teardrop, and I'm going to make myself a pair of earrings out of this. I've already been kind of toying with what to add to these, whether it be chain, or I was even looking at maybe dangling them from one of these filigree components. I mean, there are so many possibilities, and you know, for me, this is just denim friendly. This is just a really, really classic gemstone, and for me also, this is such a sweet size. I know that bold, like statement jewelry is really in, but I don't wear a lot of that, especially in earrings. So for me, this is absolute earring perfection. So that is another project. And then this is just really nice to have in this collection of beads. This is an 6 millimeter glass round bead, and it's in a matte indigo, and there are 14 inches here. So with some spacers and this, you could literally make a necklace. You know, you could use these spacers, you could pull in some seed beads to get to a 16 or 17 inch length, and just perfect. You just have a beautiful glass necklace. Absolutely beautiful. It's very soft, and the beads feel like satin in your hand because of that matte. Just absolutely lovely to have. It's a little bit of a pop of color when you look at it with everything else, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful with the lapis. I really love it. And then there are these star cut crystals. These are amazing. This is a 6 millimeter faceted round bead, and it has a slate vitriol purple. There are 9 inches here, and like, again, I mean, this looks like you hit the jackpot. I think that the camera is showing you the sparkle. I mean, I just, you know, barely move my hand and it's just glistening. I mean, this is amazing. So if you use these as spacers in between anything here, you're just like lighting up your piece of jewelry. Absolutely beautiful. So cool that we get 9 inches. I mean, Bargain Bead Box is always so generous. When I look at the quantities of the leaves and the links and the stars that we get, it's just wonderful. And then these are so nice to have. These are the little copper clam shells, and it is one way that you can finish off the end of a bracelet or a necklace. I use these a lot on my bookmarkers as well, and even if your string material is small enough, you can do these on knotted pieces as well if you're using the smaller cord for knotting. They're great for that. So we got 20 pieces of those, and I think I will use those with my first piece. I believe that I will. And then I know that the founder of Bargain Bead Box, Lauren Fenty, I know that she tries to always put bead caps in the box because for her own designs, she said one time that she finds it hard to design without bead caps, and it is something that I do agree. If I am not using a bead cap, then I'm looking for a seed bead, or sometimes I want both, but it really does like add a polish and a finish to the end of, especially if you're just using a glass bead, or if you have a bead that doesn't have faceting, you know, it just adds a detail to whatever you're making. So she put 30 pieces of this beautiful 8 millimeter dotted 4-leaf bead cap in here. I have these in gold, so I am thrilled to see these in copper. And then this is gorgeous. This is a 30 millimeter labradorite teardrop pendant. And like, I hope that you are seeing through the camera lens what my human eye is seeing in person, but the flash and the light and the iridescence of this pendant is absolutely stunning. I just always feel like with a piece like this that it needs to be on a longer necklace so that I can look down and see it and like hold it in my hand when I'm wearing it, not just be showing it to other people, but be able to, you know, look at it for myself. So this is just absolutely beautiful. Look at the profile on this pendant. It's stunning. I love it. And then these are 2 more of my favorites in the box, and these are going into my first project. That's why I put them on the end. I am crazy about these little 3 millimeter labradorite faceted round beads. There is 15 inches here, and I was hoping that we got some micro faceted crystals because there was a bracelet that I wanted to make for myself that needed a really small bead, and to do it with a gemstone bead is even better. So I mean, these are definitely going into my first project, but I just love this. And again, I like to do things like this that are so lovely on my wrist so that I can really enjoy them and really look at the beads and see the flash and the beautiful faceting. So I am loving those. I'm going to keep those in my hand because there is this beautiful agate. These are faceted agate beads. They are dyed and heated so they won't fade, and there's 14 inches. So between the inches of both of these, I am going to put them together in my first project. I absolutely love all the colors in this agate. It's so beautiful, and again, I see this as denim friendly. I just absolutely think this is gorgeous. I love them together, and I need some length for what I'm thinking to make, so I'm going to combine the two in my first project. And I'm just going to say now, it's super easy. I think a total beginner could do the project that I have in mind. So I'm going to come right back and get started on that after this last bead. This is a 10 millimeter lapis lazuli. These are dyed and they are just a matte round. So they're pretty cool. I mean, I love lapis. I tend to like the shinier ones better, but with the matte glass beads, those are lovely. And these just feel really good. I mean, they just are beautiful. And this is truly denim friendly. It actually looks like the color of denim in this matte finish. So this is our 19 items with Bargain Bead Box for this month. It is, let's see, let me check the value. It was almost a $90 value this month with the 19 items. And I do have a discount code for Bargain Bead Box, so you can go in the description box of this video, use my link, use my discount code if you're not signed up to receive this every month. It is one of the best subscription boxes out there. It is never disappointing. Even if I don't love a color palette, I can tell you that I always find 6, 7, 8 items that I adore in every box. And then I'll, add in supplement from my own stash. It's just so wonderful. And it's always packed with gemstones, always packed with findings. And I just highly recommend it. I've been getting this box for years before I was on YouTube. And the other cool thing about it is once you subscribe, you can go to the sister website, which is called Beadbox Bargains, and use a code that comes every month on this insert and shop the website, which is also jam-packed with supplies for jewelry makers. And at the bottom when you check out, this code will give you 30% off of your entire order. And it's not just a one-time deal. You can shop every single day and use it over and over again as much as you want. So it is a fabulous deal. I don't know how they do this month after month, year after year. It's just always bead box perfection. So anyway, I am going to clean up my mat and come back with a project. I have my plan. Let me just show you. I put some seed beads out here. These are called Old Gold. These are Toho seed beads, and they have that perma finish on them so that they stay looking like this for a really long time and don't tarnish. And so in this dish, I have pulled aside the items for a pair of earrings, and in this dish a bracelet. So earring and bracelet set will be my next project. And so what I'm going to work with here is the labradorite, which there was let's see, a 14-inch strand, a 15-inch strand of the labradorite and a 14-inch strand of the faceted agate beads. And so together with the spacers that I'm going to add in and the seed beads, I should end up with about a total of 30 inches or thereabouts when I'm finished stringing. And what that's going to give me is a wrap bracelet that will go around. I tied them together so that I could see what it will do. A wrap bracelet that's going to go around 5 times on my wrist. So it will give me a stack of 5 bracelet is going to be the look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And also, because it's going to be one long length, it will give me about a 30-inch necklace. So I can, make some large bails. I already have some made, to be honest. You might have heard me say that before, and use this just as a layering piece, as a necklace, or, you know, put a pendant on it. But when I travel, I love this kind of a thing because I have like a 2-in-1 piece of jewelry, and I'm only bringing one item in my case, so I can make a bracelet if I want to do that. Depending on the shirt I'm wearing, I can convert it into a necklace. So that's my plan. And I think I'm actually going to do a little bit of this chain as an extender and put a little bauble on the end. So there is my plan. I'm going to be using the Copper Color Metallics 49 strand medium all-purpose wire from Softflex. This is my favorite bead stringing wire. There's something so tactile about it. What the 49 strand means is that there are 49 little cables woven inside of this outer coating, and it just comes in these amazing colors. And you know, this copper couldn't be more perfect for the findings in this box. But I have already started making some pieces. I have some videos that are already uploaded. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel and hit the bell notification, it'd be great if you could do that. It helps me, and then you don't miss any further, you know, future ideas. But I started to say that I have been mixing gold and copper in my last probably 6 or 7 videos, and I love it. And so I'm going to continue with that here, just adding in a tiny bit of gold so I can layer this in with things that I have already made. I've even done a piece that's coming where I did gold, copper, and silver. I really love that look. So I'm going to pull off a little bit more than, you know, a little bit more than 30 inches. Don't even need to make a loop because I'm going to use the clamshells that came in the box. So I don't even need to have the length to make a loop, but I'm just going to I always like to give myself a little bit of extra just so that I don't end up having to restring. So I probably did about 40 inches here. It's more than I need, but when I am finished, whatever little pieces are left, they go into a scrap bag because I use those for earrings or if I want to make charms. So that is how that is done. So I do have a plan for my pattern with these 2 gorgeous gemstones, but I'm going to start off with just some crimp beads from my stash. Whoops, not that first, the clamshell first. You can't get the crimp bead through the clamshell. So I'm just going to feed that through the back of the clamshell, and I'm going to put the crimp bead on next. And these are just flat crimps. You can put a little dot of glue. I'm just going to get it kind of near the end. You can put a little dot of glue if you want to, like and I may just do that just because this is going to be a wrap style bracelet and convertible to a necklace, and it may get a little stress. So I'm just going to do that and then pull it down into the clamshell, and let me add a little dot of E6000. Find my open tube. Just gonna put E6000 comes with a precision tip now, but I need to use up all the little small tubes that I already have in my stash before I go get the one with the precision tip. But you don't even have to do this. Honestly, I've never had a piece break, but I'm gonna go ahead and put a little dot of E6000 inside, and then I'm gonna come and clip off this little excess and just use my pliers to close up this clamshell. And that is the start. It looks perfect. And so I'm going to do most of the stringing off camera, but I will tell you what my plan is. I am going to string this in a pattern where there is 2 sections of the agate beads, and I'm going to divide the labradorite beads into 3 sections. So they are going to be color blocked or pattern blocked, if you will. So a block of these, and then about 1/3 of this strand, and then another block of these, 1/3 of this strand, and then I'll start with 1/3. So it's going to be alternating labradorite, agate, labradorite, agate, and then end with labradorite. And so when I wrap that around my wrist, I'm going to see like blocks of the gemstones. And the other thing I plan to do is to borrow a few of these. I'll go ahead and cut these strands. I'm going to borrow a few of these. I'll pick them out as I'm stringing and add them over here for my earring and bracelet set, because I do want that to coordinate. So if I want to wear this piece as a necklace, I can do that, and I have earrings and bracelet to go with. So I am simply going to string this entire length. As I said, I'm going to start with about a third of the labradorite, and I am going to just dot my pattern with these 11-0 seed beads. So there's a little bit of gold in the pattern, and then I'm going to do my findings in copper, and I'll probably create a little drop with like a gold head pin just to have the gold and copper intermingling in this piece. So let me start stringing. Okay, let me check in with you guys and show you. This is a stunning look at this pattern. So I'll just show you exactly what I did. Throughout the entire thing, I'm doing 3 gemstones and one of my 11-0 gold seed beads. 3 gemstones, a seed bead all the way through. And then when I transition to the quartz beads, I just used one of those copper spacers. And I'm sorry about the mess. Let me make a little space here and show you. So I've done my first section of the labradorite, and then my next section is quartz, and then my third section is back to labradorite, and every 3 beads dotted with gold. And where it transitions from the quartz to the labradorite, I'm just separating those pattern blocks with one of those spacer beads. And now I am on my last section of the quartz. Same thing, 3 beads and then a gold seed bead, a little gold dot. And I'm going to finish this length so that this section here is about the same as this quartz section, and then finish up with my last third of the labradorite beads. And I'll just tell you, I am not counting beads. It is not integral to this design. It won't matter, because as a necklace or a wrap bracelet, it's not going to show. I am just doing approximate blocks that are approximately the same. Whoops, there goes my pliers. And let me just show you, I'm going to have to hold on to this end because that's where I'm working, but let me just show you how beautiful this is. It's so simple, but it is so beautiful. Like I said, I don't want to lose my stringing, but just show you where it's going. Look at this. It's just beautiful. It's going to make a statement when all the wraps are lined up next to each other. So I just wanted to show you where I'm at. I'm going to finish stringing. I've been stringing for about 30 minutes or so. This is a very relaxing, I'm not counting beads. It's not a complicated pattern, and I'm just doing on these quartz ones, even on the labradorite, just taking 3 off and trying to, do the trick of getting them all on the wire. Of course, I'm talking now and it's not going that way, and I switched hands. I'm right hand dominant, but just been doing that. 3 beads and a gold dot, and just continue like that. Okay, my stringing is done. This is absolutely beautiful. I mean, the gemstones just strung like this with a little dot of gold and a little copper spacer. It's just a delicious piece. So I'm going to finish this end the exact same way that we started, where we feed on the clamshell and then the little crimp bead that you just flat crimp. And I'm going to make sure that this is really soft and really flowing, and just kind of take my time and check and make sure that I don't have any gaps. I don't think I do, and it feels pretty good. So I'm just going to take my pliers, and this end is a little bit trickier than the other side for sure. I'm just going to reach in here, get a hold of that crimp bead, and close it really well. And I'll do the same thing that I did on the other side. In fact, before I put the glue in, I'll go ahead and trim that little tail. Just put a little dot of glue. I am a gluer. When I do a knotted project, even when it's not truly necessary, I just feel like a little dot of glue just adds quality to my work, and it'll be wearable and not too fragile. And my glue needs a little assist. Little clamshell, and take a little scrap of wire and clean away the excess. Get the lid back on the glue, and I want to make some gold jump rings. So I have cut a little piece of that chain, just like a few links, and I've created this little drop using all the elements that are in the piece, and that's going to be the final drop on this little chain. And then these are going to be dangles on the chain, like on the extender chain. And I want to take my bail making plier, and I am going to use this tiniest little mandrel. I believe this makes a 3mm jump ring. I think it's 3/4. It might be 4/5. I can't really remember, but they are small. So I'm going to use a little piece of 20 gauge wire, and I'm going to come onto this tiniest mandrel here and just get that wire in. Whoops, I can see that I don't have a nice end there. That's better. And so I'm just going to get that wire in there so that it's flush in there and get a turn. Let me reposition my hand, and I'm just going to make a little coil, and then I'll cut a straight line up this coil, and I'll have these really pretty little jump rings. Because since I have the copper chain, I wanted to do a gold jump ring, and I did this drop with a piece of copper wire, just a scrap that I had. So I want to attach it. I'm just thinking of alternating the gold and copper evenly throughout the piece so that it looks purposeful. Okay, that's about all I can fit on here. So I'm just going to come to the coil that I started on, and with the flush side of my cutters, I'm just going to cut a straight line up this coil, and I get these beautiful little jump rings. And if you're, newer to making your own jump rings and working with wire, and your coil isn't as tight as mine, it's fine. You still get really good jump rings even if the coils are separated a bit. And I really do try to just cut one at a time. Sometimes on these really small jump rings, your cutter will pick up 2 rings at a time, but I don't try to do that. Just go slowly and make sure that I have a nice clean cut. I love making my own jump rings. This wire is anti-tarnish, so that I don't have to go with my Permalac anti-tarnish coating and brush it over such tiny little findings, which I do if I am using commercially made jump rings. And I'm going to lose that last one. Okay, scrap of wire. And so what I'm going to do is add my chain to one end of my wrap bracelet / necklace. Just going to add it. Both ends are the same. They're both finished in the labradorite. So I'm going to add my chain. Forgot what I was doing. And just close that jump ring really well. I really like the copper, like bridged with the gold. I think it's so pretty. And then I'm going to come to the end of that chain and add that little final drop on it. And again, I finished with copper, then gold, and it's connecting into a copper chain. So it's just really purposeful, this mix of the two metals. Absolutely beautiful. And now I want to embellish the chain. So I don't need to, I'm going to attach these right into the links of the chain. So I did an odd number. I have 2 of the little labradorite beads on these really fine gold ball head pins, and I have 3 of the quartz beads. Looks like I needed, did I lose a seed bead? I did a little gold, seed bead on each of these little dangles, just to keep all the elements going that are in my bracelet. And I have already done a loop on this one, and I'll show you what I'm going to do on all of them. And I did go for my Xuron round nose pliers just because the tips are so small on those, and these are such small little embellishments. And I am just going to start at the top link here and just feed that in before I wire wrap the loop closed. And give myself a little bit of space here. Just open it and just let that chain drop down inside that loop. And now I can wire wrap it closed. And I definitely want to make sure that there's nothing sharp, that everything is tucked just like normal, even though this is small, just because it's the extender chain on a bracelet. And I love the dimension, and I love that little extra special touch and just how pretty it is, but I don't want it to catch on any of my clothes. So I'm going to do that all the way down the chain, just adding a little embellishment, alternating labradorite and quartz. So what I did is a normal wire wrapped loop. I just grabbed my head pin, gave that a 90-degree bend, and as I said, I opted for my really tiny round nose pliers for a down near the tip for a really tiny loop. And I'm just going to bring that wire over the top. It's just like normal, and then rotate it out of my way. So now what was the top barrel has now become the bottom, and I know that it's very small, but I'm just going to continue to bring that around. And even though this is small, I want it to be really neat and really pretty. So when I take that away, I have a perfect little loop, and I'll just do that same thing. Just give myself a little bit of space to feed it on the chain, and I'm going to come to skip this one and come to, maybe I'll skip 2. No, I'll skip 1 and come right there and add this in, and just let that chain drop down inside my little loop. Make sure it's in there before I wire wrap it closed. Okay, go in. There it goes. Just get it where I need it to be. There we go. Let's get a hold of it just like normal, even though it's small, just like normal. And I'm just going to wrap down to my beads. My fingers are hurting me tonight for some reason. Maybe all the stringing. That might do it. So I'm going to continue like that. I'm going to add all of these little embellishments to my extender chain. Next one will be the labradorite. Okay, I did decide that I'm going to use a lobster claw clasp. I have this little set here in my stash, and I think that I'm going to end up maybe clasping onto this gold jump ring right here, but this one fits nicely in the extender chain anywhere that I want to put it. And so I'm just going to come to the other end and take one of these little small jump rings and attach my lobster claw clasp to the other end. And so, you know, with jump rings, you can always add in a second or third jump ring, or sort of change your size if you need to make things clasp nicely or hang nicely. So a lot of times I'll go ahead and do this connection and then try it on and see if I need to make any adjustments. And I don't know if I will, but this piece is done and I am so excited because I absolutely love it. So I find the best way to put these on is to let the extender chain hang over my wrist like that, and then just do my wraps at random or however I want to wear it. And then when I come around to this side, I can choose how tight or loose I want to clasp it. I think it's going to just be just perfect. Oh my goodness, I love this. It's so fun. It's so lightweight and sparkly, and you know, it's subtle in its colorfulness, but so denim friendly and so beautiful for the fall. I can see me wearing this a lot. And you know, with this type of a bracelet, you can always like put a large jump ring on a you know, another drop, like even anything from our box. Like we had these beautiful moons. You could put a really large, I didn't mean jump ring, a really large lobster claw clasp, like the kinds that you use for a lip gloss charm or a backpack charm. And you can even clasp, since these beads are so small, you could clasp 2 strands or 3 strands and like add a chunky drop to this. But I just love it. It's comfortable, it's lightweight, but it does make a statement. It's so beautiful. So I will put some pictures up at the end. If you have not subscribed to Bargain Bead Box, you can use my discount code, and you'll start getting the box, and you'll get the insert with the code to shop the sister website, and I'll put all that information in the description box of this video. And I thank you so much for watching. I hope everyone is safe and well and having fun on your beading mats. Ciao, jewelry making friends.